when he walked out where I could see him, my heart just, and I get really excited. Well, here we are again, another season of Just Us Hunting. You may remember some of our episodes from last year. We had some pretty good moose hunts happening, and we're traveling back basically to the same area we went, and hopefully we have as good a success this year as we had last year.
We all look forward to this time of the season. It's when the hunt is over, we're already making arrangements for the next season. So when we get to Ron's, we all meet up at Cap, and we have a hoot.
Looking forward to this, boy. It's I didn't sleep at all last night. It was quite tough. Oh yeah, yeah. Maybe got about a couple hours sleep there. So, but I'm glad.
Ron says the moose are calling like crazy right now.
Oh, that's sweet. This is beautiful. Boy, I'm gung ho. Just get,
yeah.
baby.
Yeah, it's gonna happen.
Oh
it's
yeah, right on.
It's gonna happen
Excellent,
fast,
excellent.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
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 Well, come on over. The guys are over here.
Boys were there. Rick was there already. Kevin was there. They're all out shooting their bows, practicing.
We're just going to try this new Maximus bow. We're going to go moose hunting. This opening day is the day after tomorrow.
Right now we're just getting Kevin sighted in for the moose hunt. He's got this new outfit that's working pretty good. We're just seeing how he's going to do on the sighting in the crossbow on this range.
Coming into the season, work has been really bad for me. It's been busy, and go. And I was coming home from work the night I was supposed to leave, and my truck all of a sudden is all over the road. So I'm like, this is really weird. So I have a friend that has a garage about 10 minutes south of me. So I just drove right out there, like 30 kilometers an hour. I get out there. My whole wheel bearing has come apart on the front of my truck. So this is like 5 hours before I'm leaving. So, and kudos to him, because he said, yeah, he says, here's my truck, drive to Ottawa. They have one wheel bearing in Ottawa, so 40 minutes for me. I rip into Ottawa as fast as I can. He had the wheel bearing out. When I got back, new wheel bearing in, like less than 2 hours, back on the road, home, and then start loading stuff.
So you guys had a good trip up?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, once we got going.
Yeah? Long day, eh, Carl?
Oh man, oh man.
Yeah.
Did you leave? 5?
3:30.
Oh, 3:30.
Oh, 3:30 this morning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got to bed 11 last night.
I get to Timmins usually early in the day. I leave home sometimes 2 in the morning, and I roll into Timmins 10 o'clock in the morning, 11 o'clock in the morning, and switch the trailer over to Bruce's truck. We take his diesel, leave my gas truck in Timmins, and he has all the stuff in a coverall in the yard, and I end up horking all the stuff into the trailer and tying stuff down, and Bruce comes home and gets his meals out of the freezer, and we throw them in, and we're on the way to Cap. And Cap is the highlight of the trip. Like, Cap's a lot of fun. We only see Rick's brother Ron for once a year, and he's a great guy and he's pretty entertaining, and we have some really good times in Cap.
Nice grouping, Ron.
Yeah, possibly a Robin Hood here. Oh, maybe not.
Nice. The chocolates came around because we overindulged maybe one night, and Bruce decided to do a little interior decorating for Lee's.
Hi, Lise. We love you.
A full host is a happy host.
Happy wife, happy life. Rick pours those 4-fingered drinks all the time, which can get a little out of hand. And we had a little incident one night. I'll just leave it at that. So
We have to bribe Lise with chocolates every year for past incidences, and she's still making us pay, which we gladly pay her.
So then we overnight there. We all have a campfire, burn up some of that famous Kapuskasing wet bambigilia, huddle around the fire, trying to stay warm. And usually it's a fairly late night. And we got to get up early, and then we got another, I forget how many hour ride it is. It's another day trip to get to camp and then get the camp set up enough that we can spend the night in the camp.
This segment brought to you by Lake Huron Chrysler. The tip of the week is brought to you by Vortex, the force of optics. Believe it or not, folks, one of the most dangerous times when you're hunting is when you're setting up your tree stand. You're up here and you're hanging on to a tree, you're out of your natural element. You have to pull up that tree with a rope, or the tree stand with a rope. Once you get it up here, your arm's wrapped around here. You have to use both hands to put a tree stand up, yet you have to hold yourself up there as well, and that's when it's going to happen. My recommendation, guys, make sure you're wearing a TMA fall arrest safety approved harness. You can work up here, you can bring everything up with your hands free. It just makes putting a tree stand up so much more enjoyable and safe. Remember, people at home want to see you come home, and that is your Just Us Hunting Tip of the Week. Every year we end up bringing one, sometimes two people new into our group when we go moose hunting, and it's out of necessity because of tags.
I asked if I could bring my brother. I said, Bruce had met him before, but none of the other guys had, so he was new to all them. And he said that they all kind of hummed and hawed, and then I said the magic word, he's in pool 1 and he can get a tag. So he was in like Flint.
Kevin's older brother, Paxton, he'd been moose hunting for, I don't know, a long time in the same area. And very poor success. They've never saw a moose, they never shot a moose. And we tell him, oh yeah, geez, we're seeing all kinds. We saw 9, we see 10, and I think he was calling false on a lot of it. Like I don't think he really believed that he was gonna see the moose that we saw.
You've talked to a lot of other people. They're lucky to see a moose brought in close range. These guys, they bring in at least 1 or 2 moose a year, which is unheard of. It's unbelievable.
We've been pretty lucky, but some people say you have to be good to be lucky. A lot of people go out year after year after year and not see anything. The problem, and I can be right up front, the problem with Kevin's brother, lack of success over those 10 years, they stayed close to camp. They weren't venturing out, whereas we'll go out, we'll take a look, we'll hunt, and if there's nothing there tonight and tomorrow morning, we're gone again. And sometimes we're traveling 30, 40, 50 minutes by bike to go to another spot. So it's kind of nice when you bring up people like that don't have the opportunity to run into a successful hunt, if you will. So it's always nice when you do have new people come up that they experience something like that. Well, we're halfway down the road right now. It's gravelly, it's really hard to see any moose tracks on there, so we don't know if they're wandering the roads or not. With the frost we've had over the last few days, I find it hard to believe that they're not out moving around. It's just hard to see in the gravel, but we're doing 60 kilometers an hour. Naturally, it's going to be hard to see, so...
It's a full day driving and setting up the camp, and big rush to get things set up and in before dark.
So they all take off, and I put my brother in front of me, so I pull up the last, and we're driving along, and he's got a brand new truck. And so he's got city tires on it, and so we're driving up the road, and we only go a little ways, and there goes his tire. So he has a flat tire, so we change that, and then we continue on again, and he has another flat tire.
We're gonna go in, scout in, and then see how the road is in here, and then we'll radio back and tell them if it's good or not. So we're just gonna head in here and see what we have.
Well, it's a lot cleaner than it was last year when we got here.
Big time. It was a real pigsty.
Well, what do you got to say?
We're at home now, finally.
home.
Finally. Yeah. We're just waiting for the boys to come in and start unloading the trailer, get the tent set up, and
Have a beer.
have a beer.
We hunt off the main road, and we get to the end of the road, and I says, You know, I kind of motion out the window that he's got to turn right, and he looks down there, and he goes, down there? And I says, yeah, it's 6K. Either you go or you walk.
We all rolled into camp and we couldn't find them. They weren't behind us. So we're starting to get all our gear unpacked and getting ready and getting stuff organized, and they're still not coming. So we're thinking, holy crap, we're gonna have to start looking for them. We have to go back, maybe they had trouble.
He didn't want to scratch his truck too much, so we were cutting out some of the trees that usually have fallen over and are dragging against the paint and everything else, and so it took us a while to get there.
By that time, the tents, both tents are up, the wood stoves are being put in, Carl's wiring in the lights.
And by chance, by the time we got there, the camp was set up, and I thought that was pretty good. So
We found out later they were trimming out the road. They were doing us a favor. They were widening the road for us since we're going to travel that 6 kilometers in and out every day. So Paxton had a brand new truck. He didn't want to scratch the paint.
It's tough to get everything organized, and like Bruce looks after the tents and everything else, and I look after all the dishes, and every year it's a weekend for me to get ready for this, because I take all the dishes out and wash them, because they've been sitting in Rubbermaids over the winter and mice get in the stuff, and so it's bleaching everything, cleaning everything, and it's a lot of work.
We got ATVs, drill rods for ridge poles for the tents. We got prospector tents, all the tarps, water barrels. We got, there's no end to the gear. All the bows and arrows and bikes and pots and pans and wood stoves. We got 2 airtight wood stoves. We bring all the stovepipes, all the lighting, generators, drums of gas. We're loading up 45-gallon drums, all the jerry cans, all the chainsaws, all the small tools. You need a lot of tools for fixing stuff.
This segment brought to you by APA Bows. This one-time memory is brought to you by Lake Huron Chrysler, bringing the fun back into buying a vehicle.
I remember this one time, I was 11 years old. I was bow hunting behind my grandma and grandpa's house. I crawled into a treetop. This buck come in and I shot him at 12 yards. He ran off about 20 yards and turned around and faced me, and I knocked another arrow, and I realized he started weave wobbling back and forth, and he ended up falling over and expiring right there on the spot. And that's a memory that I'll never forget.
Comes a time when you got to get cutting firewood right away. You're going to get some cold, frosty nights. So I grab a chainsaw, fuel her up, and wander off in the bush. The guys are getting a couple bikes ready.
I started up my four-wheeler, and I was gonna go into the trail he was cutting out towards these jack pines. And he was on the other side yelling at me, "Don't come any further." He says, "I just stepped on a bee's nest," and you could see them just hovering all over the place.
Whoa, tap out back.
And I can hear those guys laughing and carrying on.
Rick told Gary, go get your camera, go get your camera. So Gary goes, gets his camera. Well, Gary's gone to get his camera. He leaves his bike idling there, and Rick just runs the gas ahead and parks Gary's bike right on top of the bees.
Hey, don't. Hey! Hey, you stupid idiot!
Well, I passed the camera to Rick, and the bike was still running. So I ran up to it, shoved it in reverse, ran back out, trying to avoid getting bitten. Run off again, jump on the bike, hit it again, and then eventually got it out of out of the bee's nest location.
The things you gotta do to go get firewood, man. Oh.
We enjoy each other. We have a hoot. We're always playing pranks on each other, and that's the big thing about friendships like this. You talk to other gangs, they'll have quarrels with each other. They're really serious about their hunts, and we are in a way. But also we have another seriousness of having comic relief with each other. That's the big thing.
Oh, you should be good to go. Go ahead, Gary.
Well, we've put on over well over 100 miles now in the last couple of days on the bikes, and we have not been seeing an awful lot of sign. Very few rubs. Haven't seen any scrapes yet.
Well, the area we're hunting, it's not good for sign. Like, it's like gravel, and if you do see a moose track on the road, it looks like a fawn deer. Like, you just see his 2 toenails. You really don't get a full-size print of a big moose. You just see little here and there, unless he's raking brush or something. But there isn't a lot of that typically when we start. We hunted a spot way north, lots of caribou tracks, and there was a bit of moose sign, but we made the decision to set a stand up and just try calling like we do sometimes. And
No answering, we couldn't believe it. There was nothing happening.
I'm fairly impatient if nothing's happening. Really, like we got 2 weeks, so why sit there till 10 o'clock if nothing's happening? Let's quit at 8 o'clock. We'll go have breakfast and we can look someplace else.
Carl always wants to go eat.
So we were heading out, calling about maybe every 2-3 kilometers, and no action. And finally, the one last hill before we come down onto the main road, it just looked good. So we got out the call and we were sitting there, and I called a couple times, and sure enough, there's a bull coming, and he's coming fast, and he was close.
Stop on this hill, give a call, and we got an answer right away. So we're just gonna, he's coming, so we're gonna get moving here, get the bow together.
So we donned our hunting gear and headed down this mountainside. It was a pretty steep hill. We just traveled light, and we had a ways to go. We wanted to get down in this valley.
Here I got the camera and the call, and it's all grown up tag alders when you're trying to sneak through with a fiberglass call, and it's rattling on the trees, and it may have made the moose excited, I don't know, but he was coming good.
So we hoofed her down through there, trying to travel pretty quick, and we'd stop, we'd call to the moose, he'd answer, and we'd get a line on him, and he's traveling across. So, okay, let's get a little further, And we finally got out in this really good spot.
He could see the moose coming where I couldn't, just a different angle, and the trees were blocking my view, but
Closed captioning brought to you by The Archery Place. Vehicle graphics supplied by Artec. The Hunter Profile is brought to you by APA. We are not the same.
I've been hunting for approximately 10 to 15 years, give or take. And my weapon of choice is Ornata Black Eagle. It's nice and smooth. I like to hunt deer and moose mostly. In the off season, I get ready by 3D and some winter scouting. My dream hunt would be a nice elk hunt out west. The person who flew me the most is an old friend of mine who passed away now a few years back. His name is Larry Acoyne, and my name is Vince Antila, and this is my profile.
when he walked out where I could see him, my heart just, and I get really excited, even more so videoing probably than shooting, because as soon as I get a chance to shoot, I'm shooting, and this thing's coming, and I'm like, holy, when's he gonna shoot? The moose took one jump onto the road and run 10 yards maybe, and stopped, and that was it. He just started wobbling, and over he went. And probably one of the easiest spots to get a moose that we've ever had.
Want me to drop it on the road? Is that good enough for you? You got room to go by with the bikes. That's snagging your tires. That's pretty good work, eh?
Yeah, it's nice.
Morning changed pretty quick.
Well, that worked out good. Here we're moose hunt 2011. Carl and I had an unsuccessful hunt this morning, so we thought we'd stop and call at a few strategic locations on the way back, and this was the second one we hit. Give a call, and right away we had a grunt immediately off way down in the canyon here, so we got our gear and snuck down the hill and kept calling to him and calling, and we met each other just in from the road there. And a bit of a walk from here, maybe half a mile, but it was all worth it in the end. We ended up getting a nice bull.
We got all the guys and all the equipment and everything. We come back, and basically we cleaned the moose right where it was. It was so easy to get to.
We all headed up there, brought our tarps and everything, and we get around the corner just before where the moose is, and here's this thing plopped down right on the road. I says, you can't get it any easier than that.
Fourth day of the hunt, we've had very little action. We've had no answer in at all for 4 days. Then we're on our way back from the stands. We decided to call it a few spots, and the last one turned out to be a bonus. We got an answer right away. Within half an hour, we had him out within range. Now, looks like we got enough meat to fill the freezer for the winter.
What a better spot. Like, it was just a gravel road. So we quartered the moose up because it was about probably 7-8K out to the main road, and then 25-30K down the main road. So we take tarps and we cut it up and put it on.
You can't rely just on luck alone. And you can't plant your feet so firmly in a hunting spot that you're not going to move. If you have an animal coming in, even if you're hunting in a tree stand and it hangs up, you know, you shouldn't be afraid to get down and move. And just that movement alone is going to give that moose the perception that that cow or that bull, or depending on how you're bringing it in, has moved. And that's going to give it a sense of realism that moose can relate with. And that might be the part that closes the deal. Just Us Hunting would like to thank these great sponsors. Rescue 7, AEDs saves lives. Cold Fire Canada, our mission, everyone gets home safe. Dynablast, industrial hot and cold pressure washers. APA Bows, choose your venom. The Archery Place, offering you a wide range of archery products and services. Lake Huron Chrysler, bringing the fun back into buying a vehicle. Vortex Optics, the force of optics. Arctex Signs and Graphics, Howitzer Arrows, be the difference. The Bear Essentials, your wilderness experience guides.
If you have videos of your hunts and you'd like to see them on this show, go to our website, justushunting.com, and email us directly. Who knows, maybe you'll see your hunts right here on Just Us Hunting.
Getting rough, and I stop believing I'm not tough enough to be